G'day ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft. We're casting the final game in this amazing series between our red Protoss in the top right hand corner, EG's In Control, and our purple Zerg in the top left hand corner of Habitation Station. Going to be Acer Scarlett, so it is tied up one game each. Whoever takes this match will take the series and progress to the round of 8, so high stakes for both these players. They look to secure that final spot in the round of 8. And we'll see how they adapt to the various shenanigans their opponents have thrown at them thus far. We've had In Control sticking with his Forge Fast Expand. It looks like he will in fact be utilising that again as his opening this game. We had it not quite work for him in game number 1, with Scarlett being able to quite aggressively pin him in his base, but in game number 2 we saw him manage to hold out against an incredible Nidus based timing attack from Scarlett, and managed to actually go into a crazy base race scenario and managed to come out ahead of Scarlett. So able to win game number 2 and equalise the series. We should have a phenomenal game number 3 here on our hands. Habitation Station, of course, has been an awesome map for us thus far in 2014. Already cast a number of awesome games on it, so looking forward to this one. Scarlett, of course, had a great match here. I think it was at the New York Battlegrounds, if I scour my memory. Burrowed Banelings were just fantastic, and we saw a similarly cool match between Suppy and Major here on the map a few weeks ago on the channel. So just been a great map, so many awesome games taking place here on it. One of the main reasons is his high yields throw just such an interesting dynamic in it. As you can see, your high yield expansions here, you could almost shoot your siege tanks from one side to the other, so close together, and so many opportunities for harassment at these greed-based locations. So players trying to secure them as best they can, but really quite vulnerable against most forms of aggression. Ground-based assault, of course, does have to loop its way all the way around, but things like blink stalkers, air units, drops, all those sorts of things are very vulnerable too. And so we consistently see them being a focal point of matches here on Habitation Station. So it looks like Scarlett once more going pool before hatch. Seems to be a default opening in Zerg vs Protoss games. Forge Fast Expand now well and truly underway from In Control. The Nexus almost finished up here, and looks like we've got the cannon coming down now. So we'll see how In Control adapts from here. He did go Robo in game number 1, Stargate in game number 2. The Stargate play didn't actually favour him directly as much as it perhaps could have, the Oracle not doing a whole lot of damage, but did favour him in the sense that the attack that came was Hydralisk based, and his Colossi were able to do a considerable amount of damage. Looks like Scarlett's going to fearlessly take base number 3 in the high yield, and we'll see what that does for her in this game. So 3 bases almost finished up now. The natural expansion going to be coming up now. First inject going down from the Queen. The Queen's going to be making its way towards base number 3, or I would have thought so. That's generally Scarlett's pattern. Though it looks like, yep, indeed, Queen's going to start its march now. So 2 Queens on the field and a third one now on the way. And I'm curious to see how In Control decides to play this game out. Cybercore coming up now, so the all-important tech choice just a few moments away. I love Scarlett's decision to take the 3rd base in the gold. I think that's going to give her an exceptional mineral flow quite early in this game. Often Zerg players will take it here. Just a little bit easier to spread the creep to that 3rd base and defend it against potential attacks, but I love the bold choice. I mean, if you're playing a Zerg, you've got to use Kerrigan's bold choices and go for that high yield. So already saturating it with a few workers, so income's going to start going off the chart. Is already 1,300 to 1,000 from In Control, and I imagine that will continue to spiral quite quickly in Scarlett's favour. We have a Stargate coming up, so it looks like In Control's it worked for him last game. He's going to try it again this time, see if he can force those Hydralisks. I imagine we'll see a Robo come down quite quickly. When you see a Void Ray this quickly out of Protoss, tends to be an effort to force the Hydralisks, and it's something that Zerg players are left with no choice but to respond to. You can't allow the Protoss Void Ray count to spiral out of control without getting something to counter it. and unfortunately Corruptor's just not going to do it against Void Rays. You need things like your Hydralisk to do it. So we'll see how Scarlett chooses to react to this, and whether she will go the same sort of Hydralisk route she went in game number 2. Looks like Scarlett actually decided to mix things up with a Roach Warren, so I wonder if we'll see some sort of heavy roach timing attack. It's quite possible, particularly with the accelerated income off this high yield base. As you can see, it's almost 2,000 resources to 1,200, so Scarlett's certainly going to be in a position to throw out a heck of a lot of roaches very quickly. Gas, only 4 gas geysers, but that's sufficient to throw out roaches quite quickly. We have a few overlords coming up now, and our first 7 or 8 roaches on the way now, so we'll see if there's more behind this. We actually have the Protoss, we have Incontrol establishing himself right outside the third base. We have photon cannons going down here along with Void Rays to spot the high ground, so it looks like Incontrol just looking to establish quite an intriguing looking contain. First Queen actually going to go down there, and that will be quite irritating for Scarlett. The angle these Void Rays can maintain is going to be quite aggravating here. Able to sit and hide behind the photon cannons. Photon cannons going to need to be cancelled now that Queens and Roaches are there to try and focus it. Scarlett going to be moving out momentarily, as there's just no way you can afford the Protoss player to set up outside your third base like this. Just gives him too many opportunities to harass you directly. Looks like Incontrol going to be likewise going for his own third base. We have a Mother of Artosis pylons here with 5 warp gates around it. Very bold, particularly given how active Scarlett is with her Mutalisk. We have the Roaches just moving straight forward here, going to be cleaning up the pylon and the photon cannon. Lots of Roaches, 8 Hydralisks also on the way. We have the Roaches speed upgrade along with the +1 range upgrade for the Hydralisk. So certainly those upgrades for Scarlett going to be on the way, and we have quite a serious force moving out here from Scarlett's 134 supply, momentarily supply blocked, to the 86 supply of Incontrol. So Scarlett going to be able to get her Zerglings up here to cancel the third base. This Protoss force trying to engage, but just not enough force fields to cut off Scarlett's army. It looks like the Zerglings are going to surround. This is very bad news for Incontrol. Great engagement for Scarlett. He's going to mop up this Protoss army. There's 2 Void Rays left to try and hold off this Zerg force, and that is a horrific position for Incontrol to be in. He's only got 4 units here. Luckily for him, Scarlett doesn't have any Mutalisks to tidy up his production. A few more pylons going down. Incontrol seeing that weakness before his opponent, quite fortunately. But the real question for Incontrol is, how is he going to hold off this Zerg force? There's just so many units here. 145 supply to 71. It looks like Incontrol going to be on the ropes here as this Zerg force just pummels its way through the force. The Forge going to go down, just let a horde of Zerg pour into the expansion of Incontrol. The first Void Ray does go down. A few Stalkers here, going to be the last force, but the Zerglings have made it through, and the Zerglings going to be able to harass these Stalkers and the Sentries. The Void Ray's almost going down there, and it looks like Incontrol sees the writing on the wall and taps out in rather well-mannered style there. So Scarlett able to take this series 2 games to 1. Well played to both our opponents. Excellent series. Great to see some fantastic Protoss versus Zerg. I love both races in the matchup. I play Protoss as my main with Zerg as my off race when I like to mix things up. So it was awesome to see these two going toe to toe. Super excited to see Scarlett progress. I think, like everyone out there, I'm a bit of a Scarlett fanboy, so excited to see Scarlett progress, going from a horrible opening in the tournament, but managing to secure a spot in the round of 8. We'll see if she can take it beyond there. We are, of course, going to be casting the round of 8 following this, and then moving on to the final. So we'll probably pick 1 or 2 series or games from the round of 8, but then move on into the final. So want to give you great coverage of the finals, and that'll all be coming up here on Aussie StarCraft. So make sure you tune into the channel, subscribe if you haven't thus far, and we look forward to seeing you in those games, guys. So hope you're having a great day. We'll see you in the next cast.